We are on page 15 of the first pace in Algebra 2, 1121. This is called absolute value, and this might be a review. On the other hand, it might have been several months or a couple of years since you did absolute value, or maybe you never really understood it. Anyways, let's tackle it, see if we can help you do well on this page. So a quick lesson, absolute value means the distance from a given number to 0 on the number line. It's a distance, okay? So what's the distance from -3 to 0? That would be 3 units, right? What's the distance from 7 to 0? And that would be 7. So a misconception is sometimes students try to jump to the conclusion and they think, oh, I know what absolute value is. It means you change the sign. So if it's negative, it becomes positive. And if it's positive, it becomes negative. No. Basically, it's the value without a sign. Okay? It's like stripping away the positive or the negative and just having the number by itself. Okay, so both of these are just the number 3, the number 7. So if I want to graph x is less than the absolute value of -4, well, what is the absolute value of -4? That's 4. So x is less than 4. So that's easy to do. We just did that in the last lesson. You draw a number line and you find the 4. Do we fill it in or leave it open? Well, because it's just less than and not equal to, we leave it open. This is x is greater than the absolute value of -2. Absolute value of -2 is just 2. So we graph that. Okay, pretty easy. Then at the bottom of that page, they throw a couple of problems in where, again, it's like putting 2 together like this. -3, absolute value of -3 is less than or equal to x, which is less than 5. Okay, so don't let that throw you. Let's decode it and figure out how we could rewrite this. So this is the same as saying 3 is less than or equal to x, which is less than 5. Okay, so this stays a 5. This becomes a 3. All right. And we're saying x is everything between those two numbers. So I'll quick graph that for you just to kind of remind you. All right, 3, 4, 5, okay. Whoops, 2. And we're going to do an open, filled in circle over the 3, and an open circle over the 5, and then we fill in everything in between. Okay, so we have simplified these two numbers and then graphed them and determined that this one needs to be filled in. It's not that hard. It does look different and they don't give you a lot of practice, but hopefully enough that you can prove that you know what you're doing, all right? And then I think the next section is, again, a lot of terminology. So I'm going to decode that for you a little bit and do one lesson kind of overseeing the next few pages.